Hello, 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 everyone. Another beautiful Monday. What can I say? I am so excited to be here. I am actually broadcasting from Maryland. As many of you know, I broadcast last week from Maryland. I'm still in Maryland, and I will be leaving actually in the morning. I'm staying with one of my cousins home here, and they have been so gracious. I said, okay, you guys, you're spoiling me now. So, anyway, but I'm honored to be here and honored to be with you again today. Every Monday to me is a blessing day. So it's well, every day is a blessed day, truthfully. But when I'm here and broadcast, it really means a lot. So thank you. I'd like to first thank our live viewers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those of you that come to the show live and spend time with us, it really means a lot. And thank you, our replay viewers, because many of you come to the you come back later and watch the replay. So thank you for that. It means more than you'll ever know. Before we get going, we got our sponsors to thank. So let's get to our sponsors and thank them because I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, the executive producer for the show is my husband, Oliver. But it takes time and energy and money like anything else. And we do appreciate those sponsors that come forward. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, I will include the number you can call or you can send us an email. First, the first sponsor, HendersonRealEstateTeam.info. If you're looking to buy a house, sell a house, contact Henderson Real Estate Team. The next sponsor, First Book Academy, firstbookacademy.com. If you like to write a book, it's your first book. You want to contact First Book Academy. They're actually have this Friday is starting a 4-week academy, so you can get your book written. Those of you that would like to write a book, go to firstbookacademy.com. The next sponsor, the Idea Club. Now, I always say the Idea Club is very special to me and close to my heart because the Idea Club, they help you with your 501c3 nonprofit. They help you if you're interested in receiving an LLC or limited liability corporation. The president of S Corp or C Corp, the president is Dumas Martin Jr. He is the president of the Idea Club. Any of those things he can help you with. Next, the another sponsor, Sutton Insurance Services, and they help you with life insurance. If you're looking for life insurance, if you're looking for homeowners or car insurance, call Sutton Insurance Services. And one of our favorite, Welch Travel Tours. If you're looking to book a cruise, hotel, car rental, anything that's pertaining to travel, group travel, contact Welch Travel Tours. They'll help you with that. And last but not, well, it's almost last. If you are not already on our email list, you can join the email list by going to marydwelch.com, marydwelch.com, and join the email list. And you want to join the email list. The email list is really interesting, Lacey. Let me just say this to you. If you want to know about what's going on, it doesn't have to always be about Riverside or Inland Empire. Many of the things I send out are national. And so I'm not an authority or anything like that, but I try to share. I really do try and share things with the community. So if you're interested, you can join the email list. Now, last, I like to add, I have a new book out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really excited about it. It is called Stuck in the Elevator. Let me see if I can, there you go. You can see that better. Stuck in the Elevator. You see that? Is my newest children's book. It launched about a week ago. And I can tell you, because it's based on a true story. It's based on a true story. My husband and I, we were in Brazil and we got stuck in the elevator with 9 other people. True story, all true. Those of you that think these things don't happen, they do. And but obviously we got out. Let me just say that. So I would encourage you. Just know that if you have a child or a grandchild or a child this is for ages 3 to 5, I think. About a lot of my books are ages 3 to 5. They would really like it. Let me show you some of the pictures so you can see. It's real colorful. Whoops. Of course, I'm the picture. Well, this is just the lady. I'll show you with the people in the elevator. That's the one I think the most people don't really like. See, that's that one where they're in the elevator and it shows that this kids start crying and they get out. But it's still cute. I like it. But anyway, right on Amazon, Stuck in the Elevator. So I'd like for you to take a look at that if you would. Now, yay, now for our special guest today. Let me tell you that now. Our special guest, she is affectionately known as Doc. She's made it her life mission to break down barriers so young people can obtain a solid education that leads to meaningful employment. As founder and director of Provisional Accelerated Learning, PAL, Center in Charter Academy in San Bernardino, Dr. Henry has provided educational and employment opportunities for countless citizens in the community. Dr. Henry's personal experience growing up in the segregated South, where she picked cotton, milked cows, and attended inferior public schools, played a vital role in shaping her educational philosophy. These experiences gave her the determination to overcome the stigma that she was never gonna amount to nothing. No how. Dr. Mildred Dalton Henry's life has been guided by a powerful motto: dare to do the impossible, and she has done just that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you not only an author, I said an author, but I would definitely say a friend, Dr. Mildred Dalton Henry. Dr. Henry, are you there?
I am here. Yes.
All right. Well, we have some people who want to say they're coming to understand. Sonia says, looking good. Hi, Sonia. We have comments flying in. We got to acknowledge the people that are here. Those of you, if you know Dr. Henry, you can say hi. Hello, Richard. Hi, Richard. I'm going down the list. Then we have hi, Willie's Talkers. She's going to look it up, your book. Sheila says, hi, Sheila. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sheila. I can't thank all of you enough. This is hello, everyone. This is Tammy Jackson joining the podcast. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. Gwendolyn Stringer. Gwen, welcome back. I haven't seen you for a while. Hello, Mary and Dr. Henry. Welcome. Now we can get going, Dr. Henry. So let me tell all of you, welcome. Dr. Henry, tell us. I know your story. I know the story. I know all that. But there are people here who don't. Why don't we start from when you were growing up? Let's start there, Dr. Henry.
Where I'm growing up. Okay. Well, first of all, let me tell you when I came into this world.
Okay.
We didn't have doctors. Yeah, this was in Arkansas on a farm. So we had the midwife.
Right.
And filling out my birth certificate, she put my name down as Dorothy Ann. Instead of Mildred. So I didn't know until I was entering graduate school that my name was Dorothy Ann instead of Mildred.
Wow.
So we can start there when I came into this rural world with the wrong name.
Wow.
Birth certificate. But that didn't deter, the life activities that took place. But anyway, I was born on a farm, and I noticed in my bio, it does not say that I also slopped hogs.
Okay.
I slopped hogs. And see, when we started using terminology, that's what kind of motivated me to write the book. Because those of us lived through experiences that the younger generation will never know if we don't tell the story, if we don't write the story.
Right.
When I say I slopped hogs and I fed the chickens, certain people can understand. Dr. Peacock, but others, especially younger generations, don't know. So that's why I wrote the book. And in my experiences, now they're talking about not wanting to tell the story of segregation and not wanting the true story to be known. I live it, and it needs to be known because, what does the saying go? History repeats itself.
Correct.
And if we aren't aware of some of the detrimental things that happened, it may be repeated. We have those hate mongers out there today that want to turn the clock back, that want to repeat these detrimental things. But we say, no. So I tell the story, and people want to know why. And that's why. Because if we don't tell it, who will? Maybe my book then can motivate somebody. I attended this when I started school. I started a third grade in one of these little 2-room schoolhouses with a big pot-bellied stove sitting, and you had to fill it with coal, or we had to cut the wood. And the teacher had to do that many times. They didn't have a janitor. The teacher had to be a janitor. She had to cook and feed. She also had to teach.
Wow.
And then in teaching,
Mhm.
Now they called it child abuse. Then it was you learn. You had to bring your lessons to class. And if you didn't, you got spanked on your hand. Put your hand out there. That ruler would spank you because teacher would say, "Bring me my lessons." And my mom was the teacher, so you know I had to do it.
So there was, in other words, you couldn't get away with anything.
Couldn't get away with anything. And the parents respected the teacher.
Right.
If the teacher said you did it, believe me, they thought you did it.
Right. Right.
Unlike some today where the parents are at odds with the teacher. The
Yes.
teacher was respected and the teacher made sure that you behaved. You
Right.
were taught at school, you were taught at home. Anyway, from that two-room schoolhouse, um, I went on to June, let's say, I went to third grade in Pine Bluff because you could not get a 9-month education where I was in Tamar, Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
The school was closed for Black kids, except for about 5 months of the year. My mom had a contract, in fact, for 5 months of the year. That's all. The other 4 months, school was closed. Black kids were
Wow.
expected to go to the field
Uh-huh.
and plant the cotton in the spring,
Right.
in the yeah. And in the fall, they closed the school for Black kids because they had to go pick the cotton. Whether
Yeah.
you were experiencing it or not, your school was closed.
So but the white school was not?
The white school was left open, and the Black kids had to walk the dusty roads to get to school. The white kids had buses that would pick them up, and the buses would kick the dust up in the faces of the Black kids as they rolled along. These are the unfair things that happened
Right.
when I went to school.
Right.
Well, by third grade, mom and dad decided, well, we're going to put the kids in town. We're going to have to buy a house in
Right.
town because the kids need to go to school 9 months. So mom started looking for a place, a house.
Mm-hmm.
And she went into one real estate agent's office, and he said something that has motivated me to this day. And the book didn't say it, but I turned it in because this is exactly what the man said.
Right.
This white man asked Mom, "Why do you want a house?" And she said, "Well, so our children can go to school 9 months of the year."
Mm-hmm.
He told her, "You don't need no house because your little nigger kids ain't going to never amount to nothing, no house." That is what he said. And mother said, "That's okay. You don't have to help me. I will get a house
That's
and
right.
our children will go to school." And that's exactly what they did. They found a house it was dusty road on the no
Mhm.
paved road on the side of
Right.
town. Bus turned around. You had to walk half the time because the bus didn't want to come. But we went to school,
Mm-hmm.
and there were four of us. All four of us finished high school. The four finished college. All four, three of us got master's degrees, and two
Yeah.
of us got PhDs. You can't
Woo!
get any higher than that in education.
You
The-
cannot get any
and
higher
I
than
kept
that.
hearing him say, "We ain't gonna mount to nothing, no how." Well, just look.
Look
You
at that.
can do. Nothing is impossible. That's why part of that title is Dare to Do the Impossible.
Do
Nothing
you,
is impossible.
Dr. Henry, do you
Yes,
happen to have your book near you?
yes, I do.
Okay. Can
In
you
fact,
please hold your book? Because this is for those of you, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Henry is a recent author, and when I tell you I'm proud of her. Am I proud of you, Dr. Henry?
yes, you are.
This is her book, From the Ashes I Rise. It is available on Amazon. It is these are historical events. They are just so, I mean, it's history. It's what it really is. It's
It's
history.
really history.
And
And
if this is something she's lived through, Dr. Henry's almost 90 years young.
I am 89 and will be 90 my next birthday.
That is a blessing. That is a blessing, Dr. Henry. All right.
And I need to talk about this cover that's
Okay.
on that book
Okay.
because when I was a child, see, my parents, my grandfather, built a cotton gin. You
Mhm.
know, we had to pick the cotton.
Right.
And the store, we had a store, a general store. The
Right.
Ku Klux Klan burned us out. We built again. They burned us out again. We built again. And they burned us out a third time. We couldn't
Wow.
keep, we couldn't keep. They burned the church next door down. So the flames at the embers would come over because we had guards by that third time. But
Wow.
they burned the church in order to, on a Wednesday night, in order to set our gin and store on fire. Third time we couldn't rebuild because we
Right.
were, of course, redlined according to, high risk or whatever you call it.
Correct. Correct.
But that's the part of the title, From the Ashes I Rise. The
Mhm.
ashes from this is a postal card that, and
Wow.
I wanted this on my book. And you remember I said I
I
want this
remember.
on the front cover of my book
Yeah. I
because
remember.
this is the history, the store
Mhm.
and the cotton gin. And that we were supplying for the neighborhood. The farmers, the black farmers, didn't have money all year long to.
Right.
So we would give credit. And then when they harvested their crops, they would pay. Well, there was a white Jenner, 1 mile north of us, and a Jenner had a gin 3 miles south of us. The one that was 3 miles south of us is the one that hired somebody to burn us out. He admitted it that he was hired by this man, to burn us out. And those are experiences that I've gone through, that I lived through. So you
Correct.
can't tell me there was no segregation. In my school, I never had a new book. I never had a new book. We always got the old books from across town that the white kids had used. White kids got the new books, we got the old books. But we had teachers, immaculately dressed teachers, that told us, you are somebody. You learn what's on those pages. Don't worry about the fact that it's old and they're torn pages. Learn what's on those pages. And
Wow.
they motivated us and told us to be. In fact, when I came, I know I'm skipping around here a minute.
No, you're fine. You're
When
fine.
I when I came to California, when I was offered the job at Cal State San Bernardino,
Mm-hmm.
I contacted one of my former elementary and high school classmates. His mother was my 10th grade teacher at Merrill High School in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. His name
Wow.
was Tom Stevens. Thomas Stevenson was president of Los Angeles Trade Tech,
Wow.
and he was president there. I called Tom and told him I was coming out. I needed a contact. He put me in touch. He told Lois Carson,
Mhm.
told Lois I was
Yep.
coming out. And Lois was to help me find a place to live. Well, he put me in touch with Lois, and I've been running ever since. I
That's
came out. We had a place to stay. What is it? The women. She announced at a meeting that
right.
I was in town at a hotel. I had stayed at the hotel 2 nights, so I found a place to stay. But I was at a
Mm.
hotel. She announced it. I got a call that evening. Got an apartment. And I've been so it's that contact and those mentors and that togetherness
Right.
that has motivated us and kept us going. But I did finish high school with some problems. I had somewhere along the way, I contracted some type of ailment on my feet. We
Mhm.
think it was brought back, called jungle fever or something. Thought it was brought back during the war by a rumor that stayed with us. When we first bought in town, mom and dad stayed on the farm. We had a couple staying with the children. And he used to walk around, this man used to walk around barefoot, and we think I may have picked up something. But every summer, for 8 years, I could not walk. I had
What?
blisters on my feet, and they would burst and become
Oh,
sores. Every summer, I could not walk.
I
Dad
can't
used to cover
imagine.
me around in his arms till I got too big. Then I've
Oh,
used knee pads and wheelchair and
oh,
crutches and anything that would make me mobile. So my 12th grade, by the time got to the 12th grade,
Mm-hmm.
I was in touch with a lady that had been to New York and had some similar problem. She
Okay.
told Mom, keep it clean, keep her feet clean, keep them dry, no moisture whatsoever. And we found out that was the key, moisture. And but when I graduated with 12th grade, I walked across the stage in St. Louis. I had to travel to St. Louis to get help. That's in my book.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is in the book
I
because it may
know.
motivate somebody to
Right.
know you can overcome it. My feet hurt me so bad sometimes on the farm that I said if I had an axe, I'd cut my feet off. I was bedridden up there
Oh my
at
goodness.
times. But
Mm-hmm.
she said, keep it dry. I found it. They took me to Homer Phillips Hospital for blacks. At that time, they had to segregated hospitals.
Right.
And the blacks were training at Homer Phillips Hospital in St. Louis. They tried some treatments, and I was able to heal enough to go back to school in the fall, the first year.
Okay.
Spring broke right out again. Um,
Mm.
and but I was and then but I was able to finish because Mom and Dad decided that I would stay in St. Louis with the uncle and aunt so
Got
that
it.
I could be close to the hospital. I had to go to the hospital every 2 weeks. So we
Oh
were
yeah.
traveling from Pine Bluff to St. Louis every 2 weeks on the train,
Uh-huh.
segregated train. I had to do
Uh-huh.
that on
He
a
said,
segregated train.
he said, let's not forget it was
That's
all
right.
segregated.
These are the experiences you had to overcome in
Right.
order to become. And anyway, so I finished high school. I did finish. The high school there told me they would take me if I finished the next year. So that's how I did finish high school in St. Louis instead of Merrill High School in Pine Bluff. I had to be there for my feet. Went to
Okay.
college. I
Uh-huh.
finished high school, went on to college,
Right.
and by that time we were able to control it. Found out if I kept them dry,
Uh-huh.
we could control it with
Oh,
some
okay.
medication. So it's a moisture that was one of the whatever was causing the problem.
Okay. Well,
Anyway, I
I don't want to stop you, but I do
go
want to
ahead.
comment with our audience because we have comment. I'm scrolling through. So here we go. Let me see. This is Sonia Adams. She said, "Hey, hello, Doc. I'm here for it." She said, "Hello, Dr. Henry. I'm here for it." Hi,
Hi,
Sonia.
Sonia.
Hmm.
Hi, Sonia.
And Sonia's coming back on the show. Charles has been on the show. Hi,
Oh,
Charles.
hi,
He says,
Charles.
hello, Mary and guests. Always good to see you. And then Sonia says, Dr. Henry, yes, the schools want history to be an option, no longer mandatory. It's already started in Texas.
Hmm.
No, we can't let that happen. No.
Yeah,
Angela Gordon Nichols. Hi, Dr.
you
Angela
don't
Gordon
want to
Nichols.
face.
She said, hello, Dr. Henry and Mary. Dr. Henry, you are one of my instructors at CSUSB for a multicultural class. So
Yeah.
happy to see you. I
All
tell you.
right, Angela.
I always have to wage Angela. I tell you, Dr. Gordon Nichols. Then Gwendolyn Stringer, she said, real stories about growing up Black in America. How quickly we forget
Forget. Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking stories.
Mm-hmm.
They are, but we can't lose these stories because
No,
they're real. And
they're real.
this is our
They're real.
history. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's part of it. And
Yes.
William, it says Williams, it must be Margaret Williams. Hi, Margaret. I'm so glad that this information is shared. My father shared a similar life story regarding the schooling of African
Mhm.
Americans. Our youth must know how
How
blessed
blessed
they
they
are.
are. Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you, Margaret. And next we have Dr. Shelley Dansby.
Hi,
She's finished her
Shelley.
doctorate. Oh, you know Shelley, that's right. She
Yeah,
finished
she worked at the PAL Center. She was
she's
my principal for
Dr. Shelley Dansby Associate now. Happy Monday. Looking good, Dr. Henry. You are the original transformational leader. Love you. Hi, Shelley. Then we have Gwendolyn. Well, I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Henry, we have comments coming. Gwendolyn says, it's like sitting at the feet of my parents. God bless you and keep telling the truth. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is from um, Margaret Williams says, my God.
That's true.
It is.
Yes.
Margaret Williams says, it was so hard for African Americans.
Yes. Yeah.
But it strengthened the older generation.
That's why they need to know.
Yeah. And then she says, my mother used to walk to school a long distance.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you, when I listen to your comment, it sounds literally exactly like my mother. Also, she was raised in Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
and she told similar stories. She even said how the kids on the bus would throw things at them when they walked to school. They didn't have a bus. There was
Mm-hmm.
no bus for them, but it was
Yeah.
bus for the white kids. They had to walk.
That's it. That's it.
And
Mm-hmm.
she said how they had to, even when the weather was bad, it just, if it literally was a struggle to get an education, to receive an education.
It
It was
was.
hard. That's what she told us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think my parents they were such advocates for education, because my mother graduated, we graduated around the same time from high school. And I remember her saying, here I was graduating from high school, and she went back to adult school. And she said, I could not bear that my daughter would have a high school diploma and I don't even have one. And so she went back to adult school and received her high school diploma. And I would go with her. My sister and I would go with her and sit at night school with her. She
Uh-huh.
was studying the same thing during at night school as we were studying in high school. But I watched how she really was diligent. She was more diligent, I think, than we were, if I be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because she so appreciated education.
Mm-hmm.
And it was what we always knew. So we didn't have, I mean, we appreciated, but we didn't have the appreciation she did.
Mm-hmm. You
So,
know that sounds like what happened with my mom and my sister in
mhm,
college. They graduated the same year. Mom went to school, although she was already teaching. She
right.
went to school every summer to get her a bachelor's, and kept going. And
Oh,
she graduated in 1953 along with my sister. They both got their
oh,
BS in 1953.
that's
Yes,
wonderful. I have to
yes.
give here's my hand clap. I got my
Yes,
hand clap.
yes,
We
yes.
have another comment. Angela Davis has sent a comment. Angela says,
Hi, Angela.
hey, oh, yeah.
I know Angela.
She
Yeah,
says, hey,
She was at the PAL Center.
was
Shelly was
she?
at the PAL Center.
Hi,
Yeah.
Angela.
Angela is, where
Oh.
is
She says
Angela?
she's my mentor and inspiration when I work for her. She helped me believe in myself and reach back to help youth in my community. Angela, thank you for being here, because I believe that is the key to our young people, is that we do
And
reach back.
Angela is a minister now. When you say
Oh,
God is the key, she has the
oh,
faith,
all right, Angela.
has her
And,
church.
and then Gwendolyn says, Mary, I don't know about your mom. How I didn't know about your mom. How awesome she was and such resolve. Thank you, Gwen. Yeah, I would ask. I look back. I asked about things like that. I
Hmm.
know people didn't always. I don't know why I did growing up, but I asked all probably too many questions. But she would always answer them if asking questions about what she went through. And this is from Elaine. Elaine says, Dr. Mildred Dalton Henry, your given name includes the name Perseverance,
Huh.
shining example of what my parents and grandparents endured in Louisiana and Mississippi. Thank you for sharing your life.
Huh.
That's beautiful.
Perseverance. That is. I have to look that up.
Yeah.
Huh.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
I tell you, I know, like I said, I know a lot about your story, Dr. Henry. I even know um, your awards, your certificates, I mean, they are just, I'm so proud of you. I'm
Well,
so proud.
the awards are fine, but the main thing is if I can help somebody, you know, it's what we do to receive the awards that they were giving us awards for.
Right.
That's the important thing. We have to, what we call it now, pay it forward.
Yes.
People have helped us all along
Yes.
the way, and
Yes.
it's up to us to pay it forward. But if we don't know the help that we've received, if we didn't know what the conditions were, then
Right.
we wouldn't know that we need to pay it forward. Just yesterday,
Mm. Hmm.
Mr. Joe Louis Dudley, the icon,
Okay.
uh, beauty products, said that, and we are that today he had these words, and it's stuck. Today is all we've got. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not promised. So be the best person that we can be today.
That's right.
Now, do it now. Those three words, do
Ah,
it now. And it just reinforced my thought. Do it now. People kept asking about doing a book, and I didn't have time.
right,
I
right, right.
hadn't thought about it, but no, do it now because now I'm ready to share. And then to hear Angela, to know that Angela, wherever she is,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
has become, and Shelley's become, as she told Dwayne Ratton, that I was a motivator for her. She doesn't know that,
Mm-hmm.
but it motivated her to go on to get her doctorate. If
Yeah.
there's anyone anywhere that I can
Mm-hmm.
positively influence,
Right.
that's what this is all about.
Well,
Because
tell you and you knew, I told you later on, but I have been for years admiring you, years, because I did I wrote the job training partnership grant for a Rialto Unified School District,
right.
and the PAL Center would all we'd have the same grant basically,
Hmm.
and so I was always, because your grant was always bigger than our grant. I remember thinking, what are they doing over there? But I was always so impressed. I really, really was. But you didn't know that. You never knew that.
No, no,
But I
I sure did.
was. I was always impressed with the PAL Center, just everything. And it always was, I just admired the fact how you helped so many people receive their education, training, all of these things, that you were preparing a community. A
Well,
community.
after being told that we'd never amount to anything,
Right.
when I came to San Bernardino, I went to an NAACP meeting and I said, what can I do? Knowing I was new in this area and
Right.
I'm on the campus at Cal State, what can I do to help for the neighbor, for the community? And I was told by a man named Maurice Roberson. I don't know where Maurice is now. I wish he could see what his words inspired. But he said, look at the dropout rate. And the dropout rate particularly among our young blacks, is too
Right.
high. I looked at it, didn't like what I saw, got to do something.
Right.
So I went, that's when we started the idea of the PAL Center. And
Mm,
then the young people needed work. Black kids
right.
needed work. They're out there on the streets. So we started writing. Mr. Alonzo Thompson said, if you want to do anything, you got to have money. The way to get money is to write grants. And I'm saying, write a what? You know. And
Uh-huh.
so we learned how to write grants, and that's what carried us through. We incorporated a nonprofit organization, the
Mm-hmm.
Provisional Education Services Incorporated,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had community people that were on the board,
Right.
all variety of people that were on the board and still on the board. There's one gentleman that's been on the board, Mr. Marion Black, incorporated with us in 1984. Just this week, we got a letter because of health reasons that he
Oh,
will be retiring as president of the board. He's been with us for 30 some years
oh my gosh.
as a board
Hand
member.
clap.
You hand clap.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
had people that have been with us
Oh,
all down through the years, some, in and out. We've had that support. And that's how we were able to survive, was by writing proposals and grants. And then when it came time to charter schools came
mhm.
into effect,
Right.
because we worked with different school districts. First, we had a relationship with the Colton School District. Then we went to the Fontana School District. Then
Mm-hmm.
we went to Snowline in the High Desert. Through them, we were able to offer high school diplomas,
Right.
through
Mhm.
those districts. And then they started the charter schools. We applied and became the first charter school for the San Bernardino Unified School District. So
Wow.
we're the oldest. We incorporated in 2000. So we've been
Whew.
there, what, 21, 20, been a charter school
Yeah.
for 20, almost 22 years.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
So
Because
anybody that wants to do anything, get your nonprofit, write grants, find out where the money is, and go for it.
I can tell you that is just phenomenal. Because I was writing grants at that time, you know,
Uh huh.
at the same time. but
Uh-huh.
not primarily JTPA grants is
Yeah.
what it was. So
Yeah.
now I think they're called workforce investment grants.
Yeah, they've changed the name several times.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But it was, to help high school
Well, it's
students.
we OR now, so it's workforce.
Is it we all?
Yeah, we O, and they put an O in it.
Okay.
Yeah, they put an O in it. We OR.
Okay.
I'll think of what it is in a minute. But
We have David Addington, David's from Canada, and he says, enjoying the conversation. He ordered Dr. Henry's book through Amazon in Canada. How the hardcover is about $70 and soft cover was $31.66. He got the soft cover, he said.
oh, okay, good.
Oh.
Well, thank you, David. Hope it will be helpful as you'll enjoy
Oh,
it.
I think you'll appreciate it, David. Hi, David. I want to make sure I say hi to you. And Shelley Dansby Socher said, Dr. Henry is a master grant writer. A master grant
Oh,
writer.
thank you, Shelley.
Wow. That's
I
really
enjoy it.
saying something. It's because we have a
You know,
nonprofit. We are and it is to help students. It was a mentoring program, but I don't see why we couldn't help students get jobs also, because that's definitely a love of ours too. And this what Shelley wrote. It is WIOA. It's Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act.
Yeah, the O is what I can remember. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
WIOA.
Thank you, Dr. Dansby Socher.
Yes.
I was so proud of her.
Yes.
We were able to be at when she did her she was doing her defense
Uh-huh.
of her doctorate, and she invited us. I was honored to be there to be at her.
Oh,
So
hey.
she finished her doctorate.
Super,
Yay!
super
I
good.
do my
Yeah.
hand claps.
You know, we have faced on our journeys, we have faced so many obstacles. We've had to overcome so much. Back to the segregationist thing. My
Mhm.
mom was my mother was a go-getter. She was a militant, what we call a militant now,
Okay.
and it's really prevalent today, and it applies to today because of voting. What they're trying to do with the voting rights, and my mom was told she could not help anyone go to the polls. She would be on the telephone. She would
Mhm.
provide rides.
Right.
And school district where she worked told her she could not call, she could not get involved in voter registration, or
Why
she would
not?
lose her job because that was voter suppression. Like now they're trying to do it with the laws. Then they intimidated. Okay, and so they didn't want blacks to go to the polls because they knew they couldn't have their they couldn't have the segregation activities that they had. Anyway, they told her that if she continued to vote or register and to take people to the polls, she was going to lose her job. My mom said, "Let me tell you, God gave me this job, and He will get me another one."
Woo!
And she kept right on registering and kept right on taking people to the polls. And she did not lose her job. You
Wow.
know. So we've lived through some things. They've tried to beat us back and beat us down, and
Yeah.
you can't stop us when you're in the right, when you're doing what needs to be done.
Well,
And yes, we provided jobs for the youth. That was the first thing. We had our first summer youth program in 1985. We hired San Bernardino kids. We had a grant from the city.
right.
We've had grants from We've had grants from San Bernardino City, from the county, from the U.S. Department of Education, from the U.S. Health and Human Services, from the U.S. Family and Youth, Youth and what is it, Family and Youth Services, whatever that name
Mhm.
is. But
Mhm.
anyway, wherever there was money, San Bernardino City was fine. We thought we could provide services to help.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we did.
That is wonderful.
Just just
I
happened.
can tell you. I am just
Booker T. Washington. I keep cutting you in because I'm so excited
that's
to
okay.
share with my people and to see people like Shelley and it was this Angela and people that have come through. And there are others out there that I think are going to be they're on too, that have come through and helped. In fact, I am using one of Angela's sayings. I'll think of it in a minute. Um, that she did when she was at the Pal Center. Anyway, we have Booker T. Washington said, "Cast down your bucket where you are. Cast down your bucket where
Where
you
you
are."
are.
That always remembered that. So when I came here, it was time to cast down my bucket. That's why I went to the NAACP meeting and I
Right.
asked, "What can I do?"
Right.
And I cast down my bucket. And
I
then
love that.
it has yielded fruit since then. Didn't come easy. I had to fight Cal State, San Bernardino, because I was promoted from I came in as assistant professor.
Mm-hmm.
The promotion to associate professor, no problem.
Right.
When I wanted to go from associate to full professor, they told me I didn't have enough. What was it? Community, not community service. I had printed community service, but I had started. I didn't have enough business, educational growth, and here I had set up a whole educational system in the community.
Right.
Had not done enough in education. I should have written more research and written more.
Right.
I write a book, a research. Somebody in New York City wasn't going to help that black kid on the street corner in San Bernardino that needed a job, and
Right.
that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at casting down my bucket where I am, and that's what we did. And so it's these sayings and these role models that we look at.
Right.
Jerry McCall Bethune, all of these that came before us that
Right.
paved the road that we travel. We have to pave the road for those that are behind us.
You're right. I'm looking. I'm writing that down. Casting your bucket where you are. This is how I look at that. It's called work with what's in your hands.
Uh-huh.
It's the
Uh-huh.
same thing.
Okay.
What do you already have? Instead of, you don't have to look around. You know what I mean? Just where are you where you are, and
Mm-hmm.
work with that. And we have David is saying he retired from Rialto Unified, and he also said hello and thanks again. So that's why I want to make sure I get your comment in again, David. You know, I'm always glad you're here. And
Function.
you have one from Dr. Jean Peacock, says, just like her mom, Dr. Henry is a strong advocate for social justice.
Hi, G. Yeah,
Huh?
we were both fighting that fight up at Cal State. She was we were both with the black faculty and staff, and they were very supportive when I was fighting Cal State for my promotion to full professor. They were supportive of
Oh,
us, and we had to fight, and we did. I went to the newspapers, wrote articles. Oh, I can't use that word on television.
no,
Anyway,
you were an
I
advocate.
was a raiser. I raised Cain. I was a Cain raiser.
Well, anyway,
But we got promoted to full
but you
professor because
you
we
did
refused to
you
be
got in good trouble, Dr. Henry. That was
good trouble. That's it. That's what I'm
You
talking about.
you got
We
in
got
good
in
trouble.
So
I
Dr.
love that.
King knows we got in some good trouble up there.
There's nothing wrong with getting in good trouble.
Nothing wrong. We still got some good trouble to go because there's still too many inequities and mistreatments going on that campus as
Yes.
well as in education. So
Well, and I think it's probably more than we know around the globe.
it
It's
is.
just that we don't. It's not, obvious
Mhm,
to
mhm,
us. But I'm
mhm,
saying,
mhm,
but that's the one you're most,
I'm
closest
familiar with it because I
Right.
went through that one. That's the one I had to fight.
Exactly. They definitely.
And win
Yeah.
because we were right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You said and win.
Yeah, we won. Oh yeah, I got the letter. Promoted to full professor.
I love it. I love it.
In fact,
Mhm.
Dr. Karnick, I need to Al Karnick, the
Right.
previous president,
Mhm.
gave me a what you call that thing, professor emeritus status, so that I will forever be a professor at Cal State
Oh,
San Bernardino
I
through
love it.
Dr. Karnick, if I would like to be.
Mhm.
But at 89, I don't think I'm interested in that right now. I got other fish to fry.
Well,
And those sayings, Gene and I have so much fun talking about these old sayings that have motivated us. I got fish to fry. I got things to do.
yeah.
Mhm.
I tell you, like
Yeah.
I think I can't even begin to tell you how much you've motivated me to, more than you know. And
Yeah.
listening to your stories and seeing them, many of them are similar to what my parents
Mhm.
went through because
Mhm.
they left the South right after Emmett Till was
Oh,
killed,
yes.
and they were a part of that great migration
Mhm.
that moved west.
Mhm.
And my mom just said she didn't ever want to see, something happen to my father.
Mhm.
So because of those kind of the fact they had to move away from their own families and things, and they were teenagers. They were
Mhm.
only 19 and 17 or 16, young people.
Mhm.
But in the South, that's considered an adult.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
And
they,
then the man, when you mentioned your father didn't
Mhm.
want something to happen to your father. In one of my classes at Cal State, I was also an adjunct professor, and I taught at San Diego for SIU, for Southern Illinois University.
Yes.
And I in one of my classes, the young man asked me. He said, a young student asked
Mhm.
me. He said, why is it that the women seem to, you're in the Black culture, the women are the strong people, or they're the ones that, and I said, well, in my culture and in my situation, women had to be the leaders. They had to be the stronger ones. If my dad had said some of the things that my mom said to white people, they would lynch him. For
Right.
instance, when she'd put her hands on her hips. You don't have to help me get a house. We're gonna get a house. My kids are gonna go to school. If my dad had taken that posture, they would lynch him.
That's right.
So in our culture, the
Mhm.
woman had to be strong. When we talk about when you talk about she left because she didn't want her infidelity
Yes.
to your dad. Yeah.
And then when you mentioned everything about picking cotton and milking cows, slopping hogs, all of that. Another she did one day. She told me. She said, "Mary, I prayed that my prayer was that none of my children would ever live like this."
Mhm,
That was
mhm.
a prayer that
Yeah.
and I went years later. We went back to Mississippi, and I pulled the car to the side of the road, and I got out to get a bowl of cotton for my one of my
Mhm,
because I taught history. And
mhm.
when I got stuck, and think about this, one time I got stuck and I jumped back, my aunt and my mother couldn't stop laughing. They thought that was the funniest thing. And they said because you got stuck one time by that one thing and you're jumping, they said, Mary, this is what we did all day, every day.
And
And
it cuticle, the bowls would tear your cuticles as
one
you
time,
got the
and that was it
cotton.
for me. I told them that cotton can stay there. But they really showed me who they were too. That
Yeah.
they were willing, they were glad. I think whether they knew it or not, they were happy that I didn't know that life. They were
Mhm,
happy that they had taken our family in a different direction.
mhm,
That
mhm.
even though I got stuck, it wasn't that something I knew. It wasn't a life I knew. And that was what I think was important to them.
And we should never forget those shoulders on which we stand.
That's right.
That's why we write, that's why we have shows, that's why we communicate, because they went through a lot for us to
Yes.
enjoy what we have
That's
today,
right.
you know?
That's right.
And we should never forget that. And they need to know it. That's why we write,
Yes.
so that in the future you can read it. This is one of the last pictures in my book, if you can see it. This
Hmm.
is what the PAL Center, PAL Charter Academy is all about. Graduating that little black male that may not have had a chance otherwise to get his high school diploma and to go
Right.
on, you know. That's why I'm just thrilled with the work that we've done at
Right.
the nonprofit in the community, PAL Center and Charter Academy, and the young people. We had the homeless shelter for those kids that were aging out of the system who had
Right.
nowhere to go. So
Wow.
we had two homes, one in homeless shelters, one in Fontana
Hmm.
and one in San Bernardino for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we've had the going to college programs like Upward Bound,
Hmm.
helping these kids go to college. And since all kids don't go to college, we had the JTPA, the WIOA, the WIA training so that they learned employment. They had employment skills
Wow.
and could get jobs. So it
Well,
was a wide spectrum.
It is. I mean, we have a comment from Gwendolyn. She says, right, the law was not behind African Americans. Lynching went unchallenged. It's
Mm-hmm.
sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
She's
Pine
right.
Bluff. Pine Bluff was my home area.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Pine Bluff, I think it's in the history books
Mm-hmm.
that it was one of the largest lynchings, 27. And you can see Black men, women, and children were lynched. You
Wow.
know, these things happened in our history, and we'll never let it happen again. Never, never.
Mm. You're
Yeah,
right.
fight is on.
But
Yeah,
we have to be reminded because people
yeah,
want, like you said, to sweep it under the rug like it never happened at all.
like it never happened. Like it never happened. Yeah,
I can tell you
and
with
so
Dr.
that's
Henry.
why I'm so proud of what's happening at the PAL Center and those that are working. Have our yearbooks. We're what is it, WASP accredited. So we're just as accredited as any other school, any other
Mhm.
place. Um, but
Wow.
there's a feeling of family here
Mhm.
again because most of the people there have been through the experience.
Right.
Gave me a word from my my congregation.
Do it now. Do it now.
Yeah, yes, it.
What a
And
word.
mm,
Everyone needs to put into practice. I know I'm doing it here, journey. Here, the journey is so inspiring. And it's true because how many times people put things up and about as if they know what time they're leaving, as if
mhm,
they have some idea. And
mhm.
we don't.
No,
And we
I could
really
be gone
don't.
the next minute, but
Uh-huh.
hopefully I helped somebody along the way
All
while I
right.
was still here.
Here's here's Elaine Wilson is saying, and hi Elaine. And she
I
says,
said,
hi, Dr. Henry.
"Hi,
Your
Elaine."
granddaughter and I are members of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority.
Ah,
Thank you for allowing us to host community health fairs at the PAL Center in the early
oh,
2000s. I appreciate you so much.
see, I didn't know Elaine. Thank you, Elaine. Hi.
Right. Elaine, I'm gonna tell you, Elaine is one of our very strong supporters here.
I
Elaine
know
comes
I've seen her on before.
She
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
on
but
every
that's
week.
why I didn't
Elaine
know.
does. It's a few that I can really almost name you guys. I don't want to start naming names because if I forget somebody, then I'll definitely be charging to my head and not my heart. But all of you are special. All of you that have
Go
come on today
fishing.
are special.
There's another saying about throw out your net. I can't remember what it is now, but I'm thinking, speaking of Elaine, fishing, when I throw out the
Mhm.
net, I didn't know she knew my granddaughter, you know. You
Oh,
just never know, never
you
knew
never
that they
know.
had any
Yeah.
connection. Uh,
You just, there's no way to know.
no
It's
way,
no way to know.
no
Well,
way.
let me ask you, Dr. Henry, as we're
Yes.
nearing the end of the show, do you have any final words for our audience?
Oh, wow.
Look how quick this hour went.
I just wanted to tell the audience that I appreciate since I came to this area. I appreciate so much the support that I received in order that I was able to give to the community. That it has not been an easy road, but it's been a fruitful one. And hopefully, we have touched so many lives that you drop that pebble in the water, and then the waves, what do you call it? Reverberate? Is that the word I want to
Yeah,
use?
that's
Anyway,
fine.
yeah. So just keep it up. Just keep on keeping on. That's all I can say. And I'll see you somewhere along the way. Thank
Um,
you, everybody, for being here and for continuing the legacy that our forefathers, that our parents, that our left for us, the road they left for us to travel, the road that led to somewhere. That's
right.
part of that Underground Railroad, the road that led to somewhere.
Oh.
Ended up in Canada. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, Dr. Henry, because
Thank you
uh,
for having me.
your book is, for those of you that have not read the book, and I have read it, I'm just honored because it literally is history. When you read the book, it will take you into our time. I mean, of what has happened, and I think people forget. And if we
Yeah,
don't write it,
yeah.
if we don't put it in
Right.
writing, I can't stress enough to everyone here. And as many know, I write. Many of my books are children's books, but all of them are not. But but no matter what, they're books they'll be here when I'm no longer here. There'll be books that my children and grandchildren and great grandchildren can read and know this is how I felt at this point in time. And when you
Yeah.
said that about do it now,
Do it now.
that
There
got
was a renaissance. I didn't know until I started this research. The great renaissance, Black Renaissance, that was in Arkansas. All these famous people that came through there. Martin, uh, black historically black colleges. I can't say enough of them. I didn't talk about them.
right.
They are the backbone. In Pine Bluff, the
Uh-huh.
Arkansas legislature told the president that if you let Martin Luther King come there, don't let him speak on that campus. He did speak. Our president did bring Dr. Martin Luther King to the campus at Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Emerson
Right.
College. They cut our budget $50,000 for years, but the
Wow.
school still exists. And Dr. King did come. These are the things that we don't know about until we
Right.
read it or live it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. We have
Yeah.
a comment. Dr. Dansby Socher says, bring Dr. Henry back for part two.
There's so much to share.
It is. And then Elaine Wilson says, I'm still working to do it. I'm still working to do it now. Ed Brantley is working hard for the Powell Center.
Yes,
Continue
he is.
inspiring us all, Dr. Henry. Wow. I
Well,
agree. So I'm going to give you a hand, Dr. Henry.
thank you, all of you. Love all of you. Let's keep it moving. Keep it
I
going.
tell you, I have to honestly say this is we will
Oh,
if you would like, I would love to have you back.
I forgot to show you the kids at my elementary school that was
Okay.
named after me. I forgot to say that to those that didn't know. There's an elementary school in San Bernardino named Dr. Martin. What's my name? Dr. Mildred Dalton Henry Elementary
Elementary.
School.
It sure is. Henry
And
Elementary.
this poster on that the kids made, they are so sweet and they
Oh,
appreciate. They thought it made me feel like a movie star when I was there the other week.
oh,
They would tear a piece of paper and ask for my autograph.
oh,
They were just
oh.
precious. And when you get kids when they're young like that, you can mold them, you can train them, and they don't have the animosity that olders, would do. So that's why we stay in education. We got to help. We got to mold our kids.
Well, I
I
thank
am
you.
hushing. I am being quiet so you can close your show.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Henry.
Thank
Do you have
you.
Dr. Gwendolyn said, great show, ladies. Thank you, Gwen.
Thank
Thank
you.
All right. You will. And if you would like, Dr. Henry, we would love for you to come back.
I'd love to come. Thank you so much. I'd love
You're
to.
welcome. You're welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I mean, I agree. We do have to have a part two with Dr. Henry because it's so much history. Well, I mean, this lady is phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking with her now for about a year, really, and really just learning and gleaning. It's been just something that I'm honored. I'm honored. And to be 89, it's amazing. So here's her next birthday. She'll be 90 years young. That's what I always say instead of saying, oh, 90 years young. And as you can see, just as vibrant and full of life as anyone could ever want to be. So I have nothing but admiration for this wonderful lady. We are having to those of you that came in later on. I'm just doing a wrap up of the show. Thank you for coming in, each and every one of you. Thank you for the live viewers. Thank you for the replay viewers. We will be back next Monday. I'll be back in California, ladies and gentlemen. So I go back for those, and some of you may or may not know, I have been working for a production company, and that's where I'm here now. They were doing, many of you heard of BET initiatives where they talk about breast cancer and it can be all kinds of different topics, but primarily right now it's been breast cancer and mental illness. And so I'm here working behind the scenes with the company, and that's why I'm in Maryland. But anytime I move around, I always try to let you know that I've moved to another part of the country, just so you know that, different things going on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you next Monday. God bless each and every one of you. I love you. Take care. Bye bye.